So hello guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, your girl barrister NEZE, and this is NEZE Peperempe. In our last batch of sit-down videos before I started publishing Mama Ville's vlogs, some people, they were like, NEZE, this our Peperempe is looking to NEZE Village. This channel is looking to NEZE Village. What is going on here? It's looking like I'm in NEZEville. Please relax. Let me tell you, see, there's a very big difference. So let me tell you the difference. On NEZEville, we discuss like public figures and now draw the lessons from their story. Or we pick current happenings and talk about it. But on NEZE Peperempe, we are not particularly discussing any current happening or anybody's life or any news. We can just, aside from the vlogs we do, right? We have sit-down videos where we speak about parenting, immigration, marriage, everything, all round, all kinds of topics. We can discuss it here, and not in relation to anybody, right? We can just pick out any topic and, talk about it, rub minds on it, learn from it. So it's not really, there's a very, very big difference between NEZEville and what we do on NEZE Peperempe, okay? Don't compare them. Anyways, today I want us to talk about something that concerns and affects many families, and I wonder why it doesn't get spoken of as much as it should. Many times we talk about the tension and misunderstandings, the rivalry between mothers-in-law and daughters-in-law. This has been an age-long issue from time immemorial, right? So we analyze what the mother-in-law did, what the wife said, who was disrespectful, who crossed the line. But what we do not take our time to uncover is some of the roots causes of these conflicts, or some of the things that aided in fueling these crises. Today, we are going to discuss the role that husbands sometimes play, most times unknowingly, they do it unknowingly, in creating or escalating conflicts between these two very important women in their lives. And from my own experience and observation, I'll be sharing what the men, our honorable kings, should and should not do if they want to enjoy the peace and the stability that comes from having their mother and their wife have a good, even if it's not a bestie relationship like my mother-in-law and I have, at least an okay, cordial and respectful relationship. Because my brother, there is a certain joy and peace, a certain satisfaction that it comes with. Do not rob yourself of that. So listen, there is so much you're going to learn, both as a man and a woman. And if you're new here, you're seeing my face for the first time, or if you've been watching us without subscribing, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, okay? It's just down there. Give this video a big thumbs up. Grab a copy of our book, The Unbroken Spirit, and stay glued, for we have so much more coming your way. Let's dive into number one. Number one, understanding your role in that relationship. That's the first one. From my experience, let me just tell you the truth. A great mother-in-law, daughter-in-law relationship is first founded on, or should I say, when two women decide. It's a decision, it's a decision, because if you want to find faults, if you want to find trouble, if you want to find shortcomings in human beings, you would find. If you start the relationship looking forward to seeing the wrongs and what's bad about that person or that relationship, you will find, because every human being has shortcomings, right? So it starts from these two women deciding, telling themselves that it's a decision I make to love, to respect, to forgive, and to tolerate each other. That's the basic foundation. When you see two mother-in-law and daughter-in-law relating very well, those two women have just decided to overlook shortcomings, to love themselves regardless of whatever, to respect each other's boundaries and respect each other's role is a decision, right? Now, but on the man's part, the man must understand the role that he plays in that relationship and in ensuring that that love and respect continues. The role, the almighty role of connector. Now, you need to understand that you are the connection between these two women. Your mother and your wife didn't originally know each other. Well, in most cases, right? They would never have met or spoken or had any reason to relate with one another if it were not for you. So that means that you are not a passive observer in the relationship. You are some kind of bridge. You are the bridge connecting them. You are the middleman. In commercial law, we will call you the retailer in the middle of the wholesaler and the consumer, right? The manufacturer and the consumer. You are in the middle, the retailer. And what did commercial law tell us? Commercial law tells us that the retailer does what? Bridges the gap between the wholesaler and the consumer. So in this case, who should we call the wholesaler now? I think I'll call the mother-in-law the wholesaler, because she's the one that packaged the man, turned him from infant to adult, and then handed him over to you to consume, to continue, right? Don't mind me. So you are the bridge, and you play an important role in regulating the emotions, the emotional temperature rather, between them. And believe me, we women are a handful. Managing the emotions of women is not an easy task. Even managing the emotions of daughters, female children, is different from managing the emotions of male children, of sons. So if you see an Odogu successfully managing the emotions of women, whether at work, whether in the family, wherever, my sister, go and buy him one big stout now, today. Send me the bill. I'll pay. I will pay. Because we women are a handful. Even between friends, if there is maybe one mutual friend and they're like two connecting friends, the way that mutual friend in the middle manages the two friendships will determine whether has a very huge role to play, whether the three of them will remain friends or one person will leave, or two will leave, or everything would fall apart. You must understand that that relationship can be very delicate, right? One of these women connected to you by blood, and the other bound to you by covenant. One, your first heartbeat was inside of her. She gave you life. The other, your future is with her. You are to spend the rest of that life with. One, the only woman who may love you unconditionally. And I'm speaking facts here. The other, the one whom you have pledged to love unconditionally. Now, due to this very deep and significant weight that both relationships carry, the both women may, I won't even use the word may, will attach deep emotions, expectations, and meanings to their relationship with you. And this is why you cannot afford to be emotionally careless or unstable when handling that relationship, both in good times and in disagreements. For example, let me give you an example. This one happens a lot. Even in Nollywood, we see it. Even in real life, I suppose it does. You just get back from work and your mother starts acting film. You know, we women, we can be very dramatic. Oh, don't try us. We can be dramatic. And so maybe your mom starts crying and telling you what your wife did to her. Now, because you love your mother, no doubt, you are moved by her tears. You immediately become angry, forgetting your middleman role to emotionally regulate. Now, without asking questions or without wanting to even hear the answer, without hearing your wife's side and without allowing your emotions to first settle, you rush into the room and attack your wife. How dare you? My mother, my mother. Or maybe your wife is the one that comes to you crying and reports something that your mother did. In your desire to prove that you love your wife and that she is your priority now, man shall live and cleave, right? Yes, no doubt. Immediately, you call your mother, you speak to her very badly, you shout at her, you disrespect her without first understanding what truly happened and approaching it better. In both situations, you may think that you are being a good husband or a good son, but you are actually worsening the problem. Tomorrow, you will reconcile with your mother. After all, now your mama, last, right? You will say, Mommy, sorry, you hug her, move on. your mother will forgive you fast. You may even reconcile with your wife, talk, settle the matter, become lovey-dovey again. But what about these two women? Your wife may never forget that your mother's complaints made you to humiliate or attack her. And your mother may also never forget that because of your wife, you viciously disrespected her. That relationship between the two women may remain tensed. So as the Odoku proper in the middle, you cannot afford to become a weapon that one woman can use against the other. Do not become the messenger who carries every angry statement from your mother to your wife. If your mother complains, you carry it to your wife. Do not become that man also that will carry every private complaint from your wife back to your mother. Do you know that it's not every talk from Momsi that you go and confront your wife? If your mother says, oh, I don't like the way your wife did this thing, the way she arranged this thing, immediately you carry it to your wife. My mother said. Sometimes you address it, you defend your wife there if need be, and you leave it there. Neither does your mother need to hear and know of everything that your wife told you in confidence. Do not react immediately simply because somebody is crying, shouting, or presenting as the victim. Do not make decisions while you're emotionally charged, my dear brother. Calm down. Now, being neutral does not mean that you wouldn't address something that is bad. No. When your mother is wrong, you must correct her firmly but respectfully. Likewise, when your wife is wrong, you should also be able to correct her privately and lovingly. But don't try to prove your loyalty by humiliating one woman for the satisfaction of the other. Because believe me when I tell you that there will be long-term consequences of those your actions and your words. So what I'm saying, my darlings, is not that you are responsible for every emotion or every disagreement between your wife and your mother, but your maturity or your lack of it can either calm the situation or set the whole family ablaze. And when the family is on fire, now you go suffer ram. Now you, because women to fight, no, they tire us. Women can fight for 15, 20 years. We can keep malice for 30 years. So bring it on. It's you that will tire, because what did they say about when two elephants fight? It's the grass that suffers. So when you are emotionally balanced, you are truthful, you are respectful, and you are consistent, both women will gradually learn that they cannot really manipulate you into attacking the other person, and both women will get in line. But when you are unstable, you are erratic, you create more problems. So my Odogos, first thing, you need to understand your role. You are the connector, you are the bridge. And what does a bridge do? A bridge is one that should be strong enough to carry people safely without collapsing under the weight of their emotions or of pressure. Remember your role. Your role is to regulate, not to escalate. Secondly, the second advice I would like to give, the second thing men do, however you want to couch it, never ever make your wife feel like you value the relationship you have with your mother over that you have with her. That is one of the biggest mistakes you can ever make when it comes to mother-in-law, daughter-in-law coexistence. Because even the best woman will revolt. Even if you put the best wife in that position, she will revolt. Even the best daughter-in-law will have a problem with a man that constantly shows that his mother comes first. His mother comes before her. My mother is the most important woman in my life. Such a wife will not like that mother. Now, a number of reasons may be responsible for why we do not see plenty cases of sons-in-law and fathers-in-law clash. One, it could be that more men are less interested in being involved in their children's homes. Right? How many father-in-law have you seen coming to say, what did your children eat? Why did your child barb that hair? Why did your child go to that school? Fathers are not really interested in those kind of things, unlike mothers who are natural caregivers, natural nurturers. That's our role of nurturing, trying to hazard things, trying to ensure that things are okay, everybody's fine. It doesn't die after our children get married, we still have those instincts. It's inside us. It doesn't automatically evaporate because of a wedding day. So women are natural caregivers, and when it's not checked, we might find ourselves over-exerting that our impulse to care and, be in charge of things. So what I was saying is, that could be one of the reasons why we don't see a lot of father-in-law meddling and interference, because men are not naturally prone to wanting to, organize and know what's happening in the home, right? It could also be that men do not take things as personal as women would typically do. Women, we have wahala. Don't you know? You're watching me, Women are very sensitive. Women notice emotional details that many men overlook, and that's why it is easier to piss a woman off than a man off on the average, right? A man, for example, can see a talk just as a harmless comment, but the woman hearing it may be paying attention to different deeper things that the man would not be paying attention to. The woman may be paying attention to the tone, the body language, the timing that talk came, the facial expression, the history behind the comments, and what she believes it implies, far away from the surface that the man is just saying. So we women are prone to overanalyzing and overthinking things. It's one of our major problems. In fact, many of the wahalas that we face is in friendship, in relationship, in marriage, is due to overthinking, overanalyzing, being overcritical of situations. Let me give you an example. Let me report myself to you. Because it happens to the best of us. It happens to all of us. It's just that you now have to particularly learn to regulate yourself and make sure that it is underdose instead of overdosing on that, natural impulse to overanalyze. Let me give you one short story that happened to me just today. So my kids this summer are attending lessons. They go for coding here in Canada, but they also do some mathematics class online from Nigeria. Their tutor is in Nigeria, so they join online. So was it the day before yesterday? The owner of the, sorry for that interruption. So was it the before yesterday? The owner of the academy sent me the bill, the monthly bill. I've been using this man since last year too. Last summer, we did the same thing, we pay monthly. So he sent me the bill 2 days ago, the first day. And I got carried away with, different things. I forgot to make the payment. So today, it was time for the children to start the lesson. My son joined. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. The tutor had not joined. So my son came to me, I'm like, Mom, I've waited this long, my teacher is not here. Do you know, immediately, do you know where my mind went to? Oh my God, God forgive us, God help us. My mind went to, hey, could it be because this man sent me the receipt for payment and I didn't pay, I haven't paid. This man cut off the children's lesson. Hey, why would this man behave like this? He knows I don't owe. And he knows we've had a working relationship for years. Why didn't he just remind me or call my attention to it? How can he just cut off the children from lesson? No, this is not fair. I am so offended. In fact, I'm not going to continue with this man again. I was just thinking. So I ran to my mobile app. I made the payment. As I was about chatting the man to know what was happening, why they didn't start lesson today, my son came back to me and told me, hey, Mommy, sorry, I made a mistake. My lesson is for 12:30. It wasn't for 12. But if you see how many things I have thought in just 1 minute, could it be? That is the way a woman's mind works. We are always, God help us. And that is how many female friendships spoil. Your friend will do something, you would go and interpret the worst meaning to it and cut that friend off, when actually the friend didn't mean it or see it that way. It's a very terrible habit. It's a very terrible thing. We need to work on that. And most of these videos I make here, I'm not just talking to you guys, I'm also questioning myself too, right? We need to work on that. So a man may think, for example, my mother only asked a question, while his wife will interpret it as criticism of her parenting, criticism of her cooking, criticism of her ability to manage her home. She could read a deeper meaning to what the man sees as a simple action. The man may think, my wife was only tired. Maybe the wife answered the mom a certain way. My wife was just tired now. She was just tired. While the mother would interpret that her silence or her action as pride or disrespect or rejection. Next thing, mama is not happy. Mama's face has squeezed. Mama wants to go back. Managing women is not easy. So in addition to that cold stout, that cold big stout for the odogus that are successfully managing women, please add a bowl of pepper soup. I'll pay. Just send me the bill. I'll pay.
Clapper for Jesus.
Why do you think that most male friendships last for 50 years? They hardly cut themselves off. They hardly fight. But now every day you, they cut friends off. Every day friends, they offend you. It's not that we are bad people. It's just that due to our nature, we find ourselves over-analyzing very simple situations. So back to the talk. I've spoken too much on that. I was speaking about why fathers-in-law and sons-in-law do not clash as often as we women, mothers-in-law and daughters-in-law, right? And I said maybe because they don't lose a lot. They don't, worry a lot about their children's activities as much as women will, and maybe because men generally do not take offense as easily as women do. But I have another theory. Could it also be because most wives do not put their husbands in a position where those husbands begin to feel threatened or diminished by the woman's father in their marriage? Do you understand? Most men are not fighting on their position or who is more important between my wife's father, because most women make it clear. Most women will not just bring their fathers into the home and give their fathers authority to just, take their husband's car and drive out, just behave anyhow. No. It is mostly the men that give their families that leverage and room to do and undo, putting the woman in a position where she feels like her position is threatened. So that could be another reason. Anybody, whether man or woman, who is constantly made to feel like their place, their position is minimized, is threatened, will always have a need to fight to defend it. And that person might end up going to the extreme in their bid to do that. A few days ago, I was online. I came across this short clip on Instagram comparing wealthy white Americans on how they look, how wealthy white Americans look, simple and, just laid back, while black Americans like to show off their success through diamond teeth, crested jewelry, heavy gold chains, designer clothes, and flashy things. Although I didn't think that argument was very balanced, because the person compared white entrepreneurs to black entertainers. Those are two different fields. But even at that, let's agree that, okay, even in the entertainment industry, the blacks are more likely to be that way compared to their white American counterparts. I had a different perspective of the whole analysis. I'll tell you. Now, for generations, many black Americans were treated like animals. In fact, most times worse than animals, because we were given to our forefathers, we were given to animals to feast on. If you try to run away, they will release dogs on you to eat you raw. Meaning we were treated lesser, we were food for animals. So many black Americans, those people are coming from a place where their parents, their grandparents were treated worse than animals. They were chattel, denied basic human dignity, their identity, their social status stripped off by force. And even after the era of slavery, they continue to face both outright and systemic discrimination, racism, exclusion. So for some of these people, that overexpression became their way of asserting and announcing position, saying, I have arrived, I am successful, this is me, you cannot overlook me anymore, because of the history of being overlooked. So they are screaming more than they need to scream, unlike their white counterparts who didn't have to struggle for their place. Their status had already been socially recognized. So it is natural for them to feel less need or pressure to assert it or display it. Ladies and gentlemen, the same thing happens in this daughter-in-law and mother-in-law relationship that we're talking about. When a woman feels like you are robbing her of her place, she will constantly be in a battle to reclaim it, even when it appears like she is fighting herself, fighting when nobody's fighting her. And you'll be wondering, why do you hate my mother? Why are you always fighting my mother? She's not fighting your mother per se. She is fighting for her place. Let me give you a short personal example. I hate bringing personal examples, but it's part of the ministration that God has called me to do. All right, let me give you a short personal example. A few months ago, my husband wanted to register his company. He had an old name, which was like a combination of his name and his mother's name. He had the name in back many years ago before we met. So it was a combination of his name and his mom's name, right? And he was using that company in Nigeria. He's already known by that brand. So here he was wanting to register the company here in Canada. And he approached me. He said, what do you think about this name? Do you think I should use it, or should we create another one with my name and your name? It's your choice, anything you want. Now, because of that, should I call it recognition? I felt seen. I felt included. I felt consulted. I felt considered. I didn't feel like my place is being threatened. So, on my own part, as a good daughter-in-law who loves my mother-in-law so much, just as I love my own mother, I told him, okay, let's honor your mom. You can keep the name. It doesn't matter to me. It's not like the shareholding and the director, it's me and my husband that will still be shareholders. It doesn't affect ownership. It's just a name, right? So it means nothing to me. I said, keep the name, let's honor your mom. We'll carry it with us even long after she's old, and let's keep that name. But if a man in this case just went ahead with no regard for the wife and just puts the company's name in his mother's name, after all, now my mama, do you know how much my mother suffered for me? Now my mama, that subject will immediately turn from just a decision for a company name into the woman trying to protect her position, into the woman feeling overshadowed. Her defense instincts will kick in, and ego tussles will now become the order of the day. Because many of the crazy fights that couples have are not really about the issue being discussed. Underneath it's often an ego struggle. Both people want to be heard, both people want to be respected, both people want to be right. So at that point, the goal is no longer to solve the problem. It becomes a contest over who will surrender first. That, my dear brothers and sisters, is how small disagreements become major fights in marriage. The real issue is not always what happened, but how it made the other person feel ignored, feel disrespected, feel unimportant, or feel defeated. So their ego would jump in to protect them. And they lied to us for a long time. They lied to you that women do not or should not have ego. That ego is something exclusively reserved for men. Only men should possess. That is a blatant lie. To have a good sense of self, every healthy human should have an ego, because that's what helps us to recognize threats and defend our dignity. In fact, as a man, you should be scared of a woman that does not have ego. Most women that completely have no ego can easily be deceived to get them in the other room. Ego is not completely bad. When ego becomes a bad thing is when it becomes so fragile or so inflated that every correction feels like an insult. Every disagreement feels like disrespect. So arrogance-driven ego is now the bad one, not a healthy ego. So yes, women do have egos, just as men do. Sometimes even more. I will tell you the truth. I'm not here to sugarcoat things for you. Even more most times. Look at in boarding school. Look at an all-female boarding school and an all-male boarding school. Which one had more tussle for respect? Respect me. It was with the females. Do you know that a jab, a move that you can get away with your male boss, try it with your female boss and see what will happen to you. Do you know that an insultive jest that your elder brother will laugh and punch you and he will play? Repeat it to your elder sister. And you'll see how she will react to that insult. So they lied to you. Women are hell of territorial. They lied to you that women are not, it's men that are women are like hippopotamus. We are very territorial and we have ego. So a woman will feel threatened when she believes that her authority, her position, or her importance is being challenged. So my kings, wisdom is all I keep asking you for. You cannot create competition between these two women and now start complaining why they can't just get along. When your words, your actions have presented your mother as a rival to your wife instead of as an ally, your wife will naturally begin to treat her like a rival. And once that rivalry has been created, even genuine contribution or advice from your mother, because parents can still advise their children even when they are married. Women watching me today that still have their mothers around, tell me the truth. Are there not times that you'll be going through one or two, you call your mother will give you some advice and you will take it? So who told you that a man's mother cannot give him advice? We all can turn to our parents for advice. Doesn't mean that we must automatically take it. But our parents can still advise us even as married people. But where the mother-in-law has now been placed as the wife's rival, even advice that is reasonable and should ordinarily be considered will now be resisted, because your wife is no more hearing the wisdom in it. She is already on the defensive. She's already saying the only thing she's interpreting is, this woman is trying to control my home. No, I will not take it. So, my dear kings, watch how you communicate, my kings. Instead of just announcing, for example, my mother is coming next week. That's wrong. I don't care if you're the one that owned the house or paid the bills. That's wrong. You approach your wife, you ask her, Momsi would like to visit next week, or how you take Siam. You give her that she feels included. Because yes, she cannot stop your mother from coming to the home, right, Abby? But don't you know that it is your wife's mood and energy that will determine if Mama will have a happy stay there, will have a comfortable and good stay or not, or if the house will be hot and tensed. That's in 3 days time, Mama will pack her things and say she wants to go. Don't you know that it's your wife, not you, that will determine that? You don't know that it is the state of the woman, the mother, that determines the temperature of the home, whether it will be bubbly and vibey or whether it will be moody and tensed. So instead of seeing it as asking your wife for permission to have your mother, why should I seek her permission? You are not seeking her permission. You are simply acknowledging that the home belongs to both of you and that decisions affecting that home should be discussed together. Instead of saying, my mother said we should do it this way. Mama said. Imagine how irritating that can be to a wife. My mother said. She will tell you, go and marry your mother now. Why not say, babe, Momsi made a suggestion or so and so. What do you think? Do you think it will work for us? You give her that room to be the one to make the final decision. There are several things that my mother-in-law will discuss with my husband. As a smart woman, I already know that talk didn't originate from my husband. We've known each other for like 15 years. I know him, right? And I know also that he is the only son of his widowed mother. So they talk. He's like her husband. And just because he's married doesn't mean that she can't advise or counsel her son. She can't give her opinion or suggestion or her 2 cents. No, mother and son will talk. A mother still wants what is best for him. But due to how it's presented, I find myself most time embracing it, or at least considering it, because he presents his mother's opinion as an advice, not as an instruction that must be obeyed. So that's my antenna. My defenses are not up there, and I never feel like I have to compete for his love, like we're fighting. I have to compete for his attention with her. That's putting your wife in that position would always make her, be in that charged spirit and space with your mother. You can't go ahead constantly comparing the two women and expect love between them. Can't you see the way my mother did it? One day she would say, oh yeah, go and marry your mother, make her rest. You are the one causing problem. How can you make a decision privately with your mother and then bring it home as a concluded matter? Discuss them with your wife first, especially issues that she will directly take a hit from, like finances, children, living arrangements, household, those kinds of things. Please, wisdom is very needed for any relationship to thrive. Wisdom. What is the number one way to perform this role effectively before everything collapses into constant quarrels and you find yourself repeatedly wading in and settling fights? How can you do it? I'll tell you. The answer is simple. You want to hear it? It's called boundary setting. And listen, setting them early, because it is easier to maintenance. They call it prevention is better than cure, right? Yes. Maintenance is better than repair. So it is easier and better to set boundaries early when there is no problem, when there is no serious problem yet, than to try setting it when the problems have already started. Listen, my kings. Every organized institution has boundaries. Every functional country, for example, has borders. Without borders, anything and anyone can move in and out without permission, without control, without order. There will be no clear authority, no security, and no order. Look at what is happening to one green, white, green country that you and I know of. The country has very weak borders. And what has happened? Fulani herdsmen and bandits are having a field day getting in. What has it led to? Anarchy, insecurity, complete breakdown of law and order. Your marriage is also an institution. And you, my Odogu, you sit on the head of the executive arm. If that institution, your marriage, has no boundaries, everybody can enter it with their opinion, with their instruction, with their expectation and their demands. Your mother can interfere at will. Your siblings can encroach without care, without a care in the world. Your friends can intrude as they like. Even outsiders can begin making decisions that should belong to you and your wife. That's the end. A home, just like a country without borders, will eventually become chaotic, because nobody knows where their authority begins or ends, where their rights start or where their duties stop. It will be a free-for-all. Boundaries, my kings. And boundaries are not disrespect. They are not rejection. And they do not mean that you have abandoned your mother because you got married. If you followed me for a while, even as a woman, in fact, many women get offended by my position because I am a daughter-in-law, right? But I do not support a man to neglect his family because he's married. I believe in balance. I believe in wisdom. Likewise, I do not expect a woman to forsake her family for the sake of a relationship. So when I say boundaries, I don't mean disrespect or forsaken. I mean clarifying roles and putting everybody in their rightful place. Because, as I have been mentioning, these two roles in a man's life is so powerful and significant. It is. A mother has her role in a man's life, and the wife should not completely try to, take it up. Neither should a mother usurp the position of the wife, especially when the both of them are alive. They are distinct and important roles. Do not allow any woman make you forsake your mother. I do not believe marriage should make anyone, whether man or woman, throw away their family. Both of you still need your respective families. Yes. So the wife shouldn't make you forsake your family. Likewise, No man too should make you, woman, forsake your family. That's why I say my husband didn't allow me to go and visit my sister. My mother didn't allow me to talk to my husband didn't allow me to talk to my mother. I don't understand that. I don't understand that. Everybody should have their families, but let the families know their place. Just like a plot of land. You have several sons, you have a plot of land. Before you die, what do? Instead of leaving one plot of land, instead of leaving the empty plot and saying, oh yeah, all of you, this is your place, you do what? You demarcate it, you fence it. You see, this one is for you. This one is yours. That is the boundaries that we are talking about. So your mother, your first love, if I can call her that. Oh yes, why can't she be? Why do we shame men for saying that their mothers are their first loves? Me, my daddy is my first love. Even till today, I save his number on my phone as my first true love. He is my first love, and nobody shames me for that. So, why is it that the men who love their mothers are shamed like that? No. So, your mother, your first love, if I can call her that, must understand that she remains honored and deeply respected and loved, but she is not the third partner in your marriage. Your wife, your newfound love, your new love, till death does you part, should also understand that becoming your wife and starting a family with her does not erase the family you came from. That she doesn't have the free will to disrespect or isolate your mother. So you need to set boundaries around visits, around finances, around parenting, around private marital information and decision making. Do not wait until your mother and your wife become enemies and are already fighting before you suddenly start creating rules, because at that stage every boundary may now be interpreted as punishment or as evidence that one woman has turned you against the other. And when I say enforcing boundaries or creating boundaries, I do not mean that you will line them up and start reading the rules of engagement. No, let me give you an example. Instead of allowing your mother to make decisions concerning your children or your home, it is your role as a man to respectfully say, Momsy, thanks so much for the advice. I've heard you. You are too much, Mama. But my wife and I, you say that my wife and I will discuss it. We will decide. You have managed Mama's emotions. You have appreciated the role that she's trying to play as a mother. But you have also made it clear to Mama that there is now another woman that I have to run things through. The next time Mama brings up a suggestion, she would understand that there is another woman now that my son has to carry along. It's not just me anymore in his life. He has set the boundary and the tone when it comes to that decision making or advice. And do you know how such situations eventually end? When the mother-in-law sees that the husband has a lot of regard for the wife's opinion, the husband has established that boundary. Do you know what that mother-in-law eventually do? That mother-in-law will eventually start passing things through her daughter-in-law. She will start going through her daughter-in-law to make those suggestions. She'll say, my darling, or my dear, what do you think about this? And the way this child kept his hair, do you really think it's good? Why don't you cut? Because she knows that the final decision will eventually be left to you. But when she knows that anything she tells her son, hook, line, and sinker, he will jump and obey, she will have no regard for his wife, and she will keep crossing boundaries when it comes to that respect. Another example of boundary setting is how you speak to your wife before your family. So men insult or talk down on their, it's just like some parents when they see third parties, outsiders, they start talking down on their children, shouting on their children, trying to use their children to shine. Some men insult or talk down on their wives just to appear as the real man, the man of the house, the man in charge. Imagine using your wife to score cheap points in front of your family. Real leadership doesn't mean humiliating your wife. It is about protecting her dignity even when you disagree. Even if she messes up, you don't fall her hand in front of your family. Even if you want to holler her, you do it in the other room. You take her inside and holler her. Say, babe, no, that one no follow. What you did is not good. But on the outside, you have a united front. You don't turn your back on her and join your mother, and both of you now be shouting at her and be fighting her, and you think that wife would like that mother. You lie. So when your family sees you disrespect your wife, talk to her anyhow, treat her shabbily, you are teaching them that they can do the same thing and they will follow suit. Don't you know that men's family that know that their son do not joke with his wife, they are very careful with how they cross the woman, because they know that their son will not sit for that. All those marriages that we read on Facebook, on Instagram, both the truth and the lie, that sister-in-law will enter the house and give the wife dirty slap. Boy, go and check that marriage. You will see that woman is already chopping beating from the husband. If the husband is carrying her like egg, who born the sister-in-law, who born the monkey to enter the brother's house and slap the wife? She knows who she would have to contend with. So teach your family how they should treat your wife. And in the same vein, instead of allowing your wife, because some wives too are very disrespectful. Oh, forget it. Just because, okay, now we the daughter-in-laws get social media, right? It's go and check your distance. What do they call it? Your demographics. Check the age of the people following you. You will see between the age of 18, 35, 40. So the people on social media telling their story time, giving account of their sufferings, are daughters-in-law. Assuming mothers-in-law were the ones that had social media, and they come out to tell you what they also go through in the hands of daughters-in-law, you will know that this problem is not only one-sided. I would agree that most of the problem might come from the mother-in-law, but there's still a lot of us, we daughters-in-law, that even when our mothers-in-law try to, befriend us, all we see is faults. All we see is, I beg, make everybody date their own day. We are hostile. One mistake from our mother-in-law, we capitalize on it, we cut her off. But your mother had been offending you since you were a baby, and people will still make up. But your husband's mother, she must be infallible, or she must be incapable of mistake or wrong. So in the same vein, instead of allowing your wife to insult your mother in the name of protecting your marriage, you also have to make it clear to her that boundaries must be maintained with respect on both sides. A wise man doesn't wait until the house is burning before looking for a fire extinguisher. He creates structure from the beginning. He makes everyone feel valued, but he also makes it clear that his marriage has doors, it has walls, and it has boundaries, and nobody enters carelessly. So my king, your mother should understand that your wife is your partner, and your decisions concerning your marriage, your home, your finances, your children belong primarily to you and your wife. Your wife should also understand that marriage does not erase your responsibility to honor and care for your mother. A wise man does not allow his mother to control his marriage, and does not allow his wife to disrespect his mother. So, my dear people of God, believe me, whenever there is in-law wahala in a family, check well. It's either one, two, or all the parties do not have akonuche. It's either the wife is a hostile, unteachable, unaccommodating, and arrogant person, or the mother is an unkind, entitled, judgmental woman lacking boundaries, or the man in the center simply lacks wisdom, is bereft of wisdom to manage these two heavyweights in his life. Let us all do our part. If you see this and they say hard, this one is hard, in relationship is hard, marriage is hard, nothing is hard. What is hard are the people that are inside it. If everybody plays their part, brings their best self, their best foot forward, anything can be sweet. I pray that God keeps blessing us with wisdom and understanding. Let me get your thoughts down in the comment section, and I wish you all the very best. So guys, yes, we have come to the end of today's video. If you're new here, seeing my face for the first time, or if you've been watching us without subscribing, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up, drop your thoughts down in the comment section, and stay glued, for we have so much more coming your way. Don't forget to grab a copy of our book. I hope you guys know that we have a powerful book, a wonderful resource for every single and married person. All these things we're teaching here, there is so much you're going to learn from that book, especially when it comes to relationships and marriages, and the many vices that we may face in it, and how to navigate through it. Scan this code to grab a hard copy on Amazon. If you want a soft copy, make recourse to the links I'm going to pin in the comment section. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.